You're listening to Happy Healthy Hormones with Dr. Chris. Are you tired of the short-term patch to your health problems? Is avoiding medications and surgeries important to you? If you answered yes, then your prayers have been answered. Dr. Chris has been helping people transform their health for over a decade. He's a world-renowned health expert who specializes in holistic health. He's a professional speaker, chiropractor, and international best-selling author. It's his mission to help you reach your full God-given potential through holistic health and healing. Get ready to be inspired and transformed. Here's your host, Dr. Chris.
Hello, everyone, and this is the show where disease takes a dive and people come to thrive. So I've got a ton of stuff packed in for you today, so we got to get rolling because, man, we are talking about digestion and the connection between that and your ability to lose weight. But when we look at that, whether it's weight loss, whether it's overcoming a chronic disease, whether it's just having more energy in our life, who is responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? We are, right? We're responsible for our own health. No one will take better care of yourself than you will. It's time you start doing that for yourself and start taking back control of your health. So I want to give you some tools today. Start to think about. I want to challenge the way you think about your health so you can start losing the weight. I'm going to teach you how digestion is a key role in that. And if you're not addressing this issue, then you're probably going to continue to struggle with that weight gain and that weight loss resistance. So before we really get into it, I love hearing testimonials from our listeners. We have people calling in, emailing, Facebooking us all the time, telling us how much weight they've lost from the things we've talked about to the medications they've been able to get off, and how their life and their quality of life has just gotten so much better, and they never thought they'd be able to live that way again. And so I love hearing those things. So please tell us your stories. Go on our Facebook page. Go on to our Instagram. Go on to our email us at info@newedgewellness.com. And tell us your story. Maybe send us some pictures. Post them on our Facebook page on either New Edge Wellness Facebook page or our Dr. Chris Murphy Instagram or wherever you can find us. Just get into the show notes. We have a lot of different resources there, a lot of different ways to contact us, get a hold of us, and tell us your story, because the more we get those stories out there, the more you will be able to help someone else be inspired so that they can start to make the changes as well. So let's get into it. Let's talk about digestion. That has to do with the stomach, the lower intestine, the upper intestine, and the large intestine. But the large intestine is what's considered your gut. Now, the microbiome is where the gut stores everything. And so that contains over 1 trillion cells. That's right, trillion with a T. This is literally an organ within your colon. This microbiome actually outweighs the rest of the cells in your body. I cannot explain to you how important this is. Now, chronic digestive issues with bacteria in the body, they all come down to this microbiome. In fact, 80% of your immune system is in the gut. So don't start cutting out organs like the gallbladder, the appendix, the adrenal glands, those are getting the lap bands or the colon being cut out, right? These are things that your body needs, and they're not to be cut out and not to be taken lightly. So bacteria is key in changing gene expression. Good bacteria means that your body will turn on genes that will help lead towards a healthier life, versus when we get overabundance of bad bacteria, just an imbalance of good bacteria. Because I really hate to say good and bad bacteria, because it's kind of like having good and bad cholesterol. There's no such thing. It's just having that balance, because the quote-unquote bad is really essential for our well-being. But when it gets out of balance, that will what leads towards the chronic disease, like heart disease, cancer, just to name a couple. But you really got to respect the connection between your gut and your brain. That gut-brain connection is what is going to lead you to being able to lose the weight, to being able to get inflammation down in your body, overcoming chronic disease, autoimmune diseases. The list can go on. I could keep naming all kinds of disease, but remember, old disease, I can't even talk today. Old diseases is dis-ease. Dis-ease in the body. And when we have that dis-ease in the body, it starts to create problems. It starts to manifest ourselves as a symptom, and then the doctor can give you a diagnosis and then give you a medication. That's all you need to know about that. So let's talk about the microbiome a little bit more, get into a little more detail about that. So when we look at the microbiome, this drives your health. If the microbiome is sick, then you're going to be sick. It's involved in brain development, your immune system, weight control, hormones. In fact, in 2012, Times Magazine did a story on the Human Microbiome Project. It's actually an extension of the Genome Project, but the goal was to help us work with bacteria, and the bacteria is good for us. It's working for us, not against us, and that when it starts to become out of balance, it's linked towards the obesity, arthritis, high cholesterol, 100% correlation with these things. So remember, you don't need a magic pill to start to help your body heal and get well. You just need to help your body heal itself, meaning don't get in the way of it. So there is no magic pill, so stop searching for it. The magic you need is already inside you. You have an amazing healing ability inside your body. Think about it. If you can have a cut on your hand and not even have to think about it, and your body will heal that cut, there's some pretty crazy healing going on inside your body, but you've got to respect that and work with it, not against it. So first thing you got to do is you got to stop poisoning yourself. You got to get off the packaged food. I mean, there's 3,000 different kinds of chemicals out there in our food. 80% of ADD and ADHD is drastically decreased, and symptoms go away just by changing the foods we eat. But when we poison ourselves with these things, it really starts to affect that genome and that microbiome, I should say. And one of the biggest killers I see are antibiotics. It kills all your bacteria, quote, good or bad, whatever your beliefs are with that. And it drastically lowers your immune system, sets you up for future infections and problems. So when you look at it, get bacteria back into your life. A great alternative to antibiotics are things like structured silver. Now, this is not colloidal silver. Colloidal silver can be great as well, but what the research is showing is that structured silver, which has been ionized, actually has a more potent ability to destroy the bad bacteria and viruses. In fact, they're actually doing studies with bacteria and viruses. One of the things I think is cool is one they did with a virus, which is one of the viruses they were actually working with was malaria. And people were recovering within just a few days of being infected with malaria just from using structured silver. You can take a couple teaspoons of this a day, and it will really help bolster your immune system, but also for a lot of chronic issues as well. You can apply it topically, internally. It's really great. And it's no, you're not going to turn into the one of the guys in the Blue Man Group, okay? But we also want to look at this and look at fermented foods as well. So you can make your own fermented foods pretty simply using a glass jar, some water, some salt, put some cut up veggies in it, put it in the refrigerator with some probiotics in the fridge, and leave it in the fridge for a couple weeks. You will have fermented foods. It's amazing healing powers for the gut and repairing the GI system. But remember, it takes time to heal the body, especially the GI system. Any physiological area, whether it be the endocrine system, the GI system, the nervous system, takes a minimum of 3 months to repair. And if you've got more damage, it might take 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 18 months. But you just got to be consistent with whatever game plan you've got. Be consistent. Even when you feel like you're maybe not making the gains you want, keep going. Because what happens is in the beginning, anytime you make a lifestyle change, you have this really drastic bell curve where it goes almost straight up, where you're feeling better, you're having more energy, you're less inflammation, you're just more clear thinking, and your body gets to that point where it's functioning more ideally. And then the increased line to continuing to rebuild your body and health is a lot less. It's almost like if you zoom in on it, it almost looks like it's just stagnant, like it's flat. But really it's going up, but you just don't get that same high, those endorphins from that initial change in your body. And so that's why a lot of times after 1, 2, 3, 4 months, people are like, oh man, is this thing really working for me? I don't feel the same high and feeling as good and changes as I did earlier on. It's because your body has limitations, right? You can only go so high, and then the learning curve, so to speak, gets less. And your body can still be changing and healing. You're just not feeling it as drastically. you might look back over the course of the next 3 to 6 months and say, oh, this changed, versus before you could see, oh, wow, just in a couple of days or a week, I was seeing these changes. So be mature about that. Understand what's going on in your body. Probiotics are great, can be a great start, but can't survive if your environment is still toxic or if you don't have a healthy foundation to grow those probiotics on. So you got to be doing the right things to build that foundation. If you don't have a good foundation, it's probably a neurological issue. There's a blockage somewhere. And that's when you definitely need to see a chiropractor that does corrective care, not just someone that's going to go in there and make some bones move and pop and snap like a Rice Krispie treat. Don't get me wrong, manual adjustments are awesome. We do those with our patients as well, but I'm talking about actually a plan to correct the nervous system, getting some long-lasting changes, because if you don't take care of that nervous system, it's going to destroy your immune system. It's going to shut the power off to a lot of other important organs, and your body is slowly going to just starve itself of that energy. So nerve tissue drives GI tissue, which drives immune tissue. So you got to do things in layers. First, you got to get the nervous system strong. Then you can go into the nutrition, then repair the tissue with supplements, then start to detox your body. But if you have a poor GI flow, gastrointestinal flow, and you're not getting things moving through because of these other interferences, it's going to lead toward toxicity, waste buildup, and that's going to lead to a lot of inflammation and chronic disease. So there's different cleanses and detoxes you can do as well, but you really got to start with the food that you're putting in your body. And then you can start to get into some of those other things. And remember, a cleanse is different than a detox. If you're really doing a detox, you're doing some chelation with that. And that might be something you need to do to start to lose the weight and get the inflammation out of your body and help your cells get well. But you've got to really understand what's the most important thing for you right now. And many weight loss programs have you eating, these great foods, but we're not getting the underlying issues. So you're eating right, you're exercising, not losing the weight. It's because there's one of these other interferences. And if you want to go crazy and drive yourself insane, then keep doing the same thing over and over again. But I want you to really dig in deep to yourself and ask yourself if you think you're worth it. Are you worth it to do something different? Are you worth it to invest in yourself and invest in your health so you can have the life you want? Do you want to break free? Then you got to do what it takes. Just don't sit there and think that you can take an easy way out. People's lives are being changed, and they're going to the next level, and they're accomplishing things that they never thought possible. But it's because they're changing their habits. They're doing something different. They're going in a different direction. Are you that person, or are you the person that's going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and keep being miserable, keep being unhappy, and keep taking the drugs that your doctor's given to you, that when you look at him, he looks even more unhealthy and miserable than you do, right? Definition of insanity. So remember, start removing those interferences, whether the people in your life, the food in your life, whatever that might be, because your body can heal. It just needs no interference.
Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please help more people in reaching their fullest potential and rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. For show notes and other free resources we mentioned today, go to newedgewellness.com.